Three, two, one, and we are live. Happy Friday to you all. We're just going to hang out here for just a second. I wish that these live stream videos automatically played really cool Christmas music or something, because I feel like every time I've tried to play music in the past, I get these nasty little messages from Facebook saying that the music is not approved by me or something like that. So hello, if you are joining. I cannot see who's here or the comments yet. Everything is a little bit delayed. So please do say hello if you are jumping on. This is Sonia, otherwise known as your dietitian with a mission, coming to you live from Minnesota. What a great way to launch the weekend, to talk a little bit about health. So the title of this video today is Ho, 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 Healthy Holidays. Let's talk about some plant protein today. So I am really excited about this. And as I mentioned when I kicked off this series last week, we're going to spend the next 4 weeks talking about something valuable in the world of health and wellness that I believe will change your life and give you some information to ride into 2021 with some healthier habits. So if you're here for the first time, welcome, welcome. It's great to meet you. I know I have a lot of new friends out there, and this is broadcasting live in a lot of different places. So please do say hello. Let me know where you are watching from. And if this is the first time you've caught one of my live videos, I'd love to hear from you. And then, of course, if you're catching this on the replay, go ahead and drop the word replay down below. And so last week, if you caught my video, I talked about doing a giveaway at the end of this month. So I just want to let you know that if you find value in the information that I share today, go ahead and share this video in a public place on the Facebook platform so that I can see you share. Comment shared down in the comments, and that way I can come back around and of course verify that you shared. And I'm going to actually enter you into a drawing where I'm going to be giving away some cool stuff at the end of the month. So that is how we roll. So let's get into the information, because I know everybody is so excited that it's Friday. So first of all, I hope you all are having a wonderful holiday season. I think this season is just such a great time of year to celebrate laughter and joy and cheer. And I know it's been a really crazy year for a lot of people in so many ways. But, you know, I want to challenge you to think about 1 or 2 blessings in your life that have come out of this year, because it's very easy to remember the negative, but there are always little things to be grateful for. So if you want to shout out something that you're grateful for today, it'll help us all in this season of giving stay in the presence of gratitude, even when things are a little bit challenging. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's talk protein here for a second. So this is not a video about teaching you to become vegetarian or vegan or telling you that's how you should eat. As a matter of fact, when I work with people and they ask me, is that the best way to eat? There is no one size fits all. But I think what I would say is this: regardless of what eating plan you prescribe to, the common theme is we all need more plants. And moving toward a largely plant-based diet is a good thing to do. Now, that doesn't mean you need to label yourself, I'm plant-based or I'm vegan, or I have some sort of title in how I eat. It just means that adding more meatless meals or plant-based meals is always a good thing to do. So I'm here to give you some ideas today on 10 different sources of protein that are very easy to find. Things, some of them you may be familiar with, some of them may be, you know, foreign to you. And if you have a favorite source of plant-based protein, I'd love to hear what it is. Drop that down in the comments below, because I believe we're all here to share from the knowledge that we gain from one another. So let's dive in. I'm just going to run down the list, and I'm going to knock out number 1 because it is the most controversial, did I say that right? one on the list, and that is soy. Okay, so we have a camp of people who believe that soy is a horrible thing. And then we have another camp of people that constantly eat soy. So the magic answer. So as a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and certified diabetes educator, I can tell you the one thing that is good and bad about my profession is that it is always 100% confusing, even to those of us that study this for a living. So that's the first disclaimer I will put on this, is that there's never a concise, solid answer on anything. So here is, from every bit of research that I've done, I want to give you what I believe to be true about soy. There is good soy and there is not so good soy. Okay, so when I talk about soy, I'm going to talk about the good forms of soy, and that is things like organic tofu, and tempeh. So tempeh is a fermented form of soy. Now, that being said, there are also cheap forms of soy. There are soy protein isolates, soy flour, soybean oil. There's all kinds of icky forms of soy. So when I talk about soy, I'm talking about the whole soybean itself, like edamame, if you've ever had that, or tofu or tempeh. So those are actually great sources of plant-based protein. Now, even with that, I'm going to put a disclaimer on this and say that, you know, if you're in the camp that decides you never want to eat soy, that's 100% okay. That is your choice. We all have choices. What I would say is that eating the same thing, regardless of what it is, every day of the week is not a good choice. So if you're the person that eats soy every single day of the week, probably not a good choice. It's all about balance in life. So don't be afraid to add a little bit of tofu. Again, I prefer organic just because it's free of all the icky stuff, and or tempeh or whole edamame soybeans to your diet. Okay, so that's number one on the list. Figured we'd get that one out of the way. Number two, one of my favorites, and I use it for a lot of different things, from making soup to making homemade plant-based burgers to, let's see, I've made meatballs with it, well, meatless meatballs, that is, and that is lentils. So there are a lot of different varieties of lentils. There's red lentils, brown lentils, green lentils, all kinds of lentils. Really what I love is, and this is not, I'm not promoting this brand, but these are actually sprouted lentils. And when you sprout something like a legume, or in this case, a lentil, it makes it much easier on the digestive system. So some of the things that you'll hear people say about beans and legumes in general is they're gas forming, and they can be, but when we ferment them or sprout them, it tends to make that a whole lot easier on your gut. So this is what I use, just a sprouted version of lentils. As a matter of fact, we might even have lentil soup tonight. I think that sounds like a really good idea for a cold day here in Minnesota. So number two on my list is lentils. Number three, any type of bean. So whether that's a kidney bean, a chickpea, I actually did a live not too long ago talking about 2021. That just sounds weird saying it, being the year of the chickpea. So you're going to see everything made with chickpeas, chickpea flour, chickpea burgers, chickpea pizza crust, chickpea tortillas, chickpea everything. So the year of the chickpea. So chickpeas are high in protein, but really any type of bean. And beans are something there, again, if you don't eat them very often, they could be a little gas forming. However, the more you condition your body to eat these things, the less problems you have. So always use your own personalized judgment, but adding plant-based proteins is a simple thing to do. You just have to pick and choose the varieties that work for you. Okay, so there's number three, any type of a bean. Okay, number four might surprise you a little bit. It's an ingredient I use a lot for cooking, but until recently, I had no idea really how much protein was in it. So if you've been dairy-free ever and you're a cheese lover like me, you're always looking for a cheesy substitute. And so there are a lot of recipes out there that use nutritional yeast. So here's just, again, I'm not promoting this brand, just happens to be one that I have in my refrigerator. But there is, interestingly enough, 14 grams of protein in an ounce of nutritional yeast. So if you're making a vegan cheese dip, or you're even just making, you know, say a plant-based, like a lentil pasta or something, and you use this on your lentil pasta, not only does the lentil pasta, it's grain-free, it's also higher in protein than most pastas and higher in fiber, lower in carbs, but then you throw on some nutritional yeast and you just added even more protein. The other thing this is really good on, if you guys love popcorn once in a while, sprinkle it on your popcorn. It's a really great source of protein. Okay, number five on the list is hemp seeds. Pretty simple. So if there are places you can add hemp seeds to your salad, to a smoothie, a protein shake. You can even take, if you're an oatmeal maker or an oatmeal lover, I should say, and you're trying to do more of that grain-free, go out there and Google search, and I'll try to post a recipe one of these days, but Google search ways to make what they call a oatmeal. So it's oatmeal made with hemp seed that has no oats in it. So the way that you make it, and it's kind of an overnight oats version. So you make it in a jar, put it in your refrigerator, but instead of using oats, you use the hemp seeds, which are much higher in protein and much lower in carbs. So that's another great way to add protein. So just an ounce of hemp seeds has 10 grams of protein. So these are things that you can eat in really small concentrations and get a lot of plant-based protein, which is cool. Number 6 is actually something I was a little bit surprised. I mean, you think about it in terms of protein powders, but just like your average green peas. So peas and carrots, as in vegetables, that peas are actually a legume, but most people call them a vegetable. So we'll just stay in the vegetable camp. But green peas themselves actually are loaded with protein. Did you know that? So to be exact, there's about 9 grams of protein in 1 cup of peas. So kind of cool. Okay, spirulina. Spirulina is actually something, we're going to get a little bit more technical as we go here now. So spirulina is something that you'll actually see in a lot of green drinks. It is actually on the list of superfoods. There's so many health benefits to spirulina that's a whole nother live in itself. I use a greens drink you guys have maybe seen me talk about. Happens to taste like chocolate. It's wonderful, but it actually is loaded with spirulina as well. So spirulina itself is a plant that contains a lot of protein. Actually, 2 tablespoons of spirulina is 8 grams of protein. So that's pretty cool. And it's something you can throw in a protein shake or a smoothie or really anything. I mean, I'm not sure that I would just put it in water and drink it. Although that's what I love about these is they taste like chocolate and they're organic and there's monk fruit in them so that they don't taste like I'm drinking a glass of alfalfa. Been there. Okay. All right. There you go. All right. Number 8. If you've ever cooked with some what they call pseudo grains are things that when you cook them, they look like grains, but they're actually seeds. So things like quinoa or amaranth, those are 2. There are others, there are millet, and there's a couple others out there. Buckwheat's another good one. So they're actually seeds that you use more like a grain, but they are actually considered in the grain-free camp. So those are usually higher in amino acids. And when they're higher in amino acids or a complete set of amino acids, that makes it a complete protein. So on average, for example, a cup of quinoa is about 9 grams of protein. So I guess the moral of the story is I'm giving you a lot of different options, and you might decide, well, I don't like this because I'm grain-free, or I don't want soy, or whatever the case might be, and that's okay. We all have our choices, but adding variety of plant-based proteins to your day is a really, really healthy thing to do. Okay, number 9, pretty simple one, nuts and seeds. And the other trend that I was reading about recently is for 2021 is like the year of the nut or the year of the seed, meaning that we're going to start to see a lot more fancy nut butters. So no longer just peanut butter, almond butter, but walnut butter and pumpkin seed butter, not like pumpkin butter that tastes sweet like apple butter, but like pumpkin seed butter. Let's see, what are the other ones? Hemp seed butter. I mean, there's going to be all kinds of butters. So nuts and seeds are actually a great source of plant-based protein. Now, the one that there's some controversy around, of course, is peanut butter. But even if you find a really good quality peanut butter, and again, this goes back to not eating the same food every single day, but actually having variety, because of course, variety is the spice of life, right? There you go. So lots of nuts and seeds. And then number 10 on the list, and I'm going to take a moment here because this is a really big one. There's a lot of bad plant-based protein powders out there. People think that because they have to stay away from dairy or somehow dairy got a bad rap, whatever the case might be, that's your choice, that plant-based is always the solution. And while that is the case, you want to make sure you're looking for some key things in a plant-based protein. Plant-based proteins can have the tendency to have heavy metals. Some even have traces of lead and arsenic and icky things in them, and don't always have the most desirable taste, as a matter of fact, or texture even. So sometimes when you put plant-based protein in a glass, it's like drinking a glass of sand. I've tried a lot of different kinds of protein. So you want to look for something not only that has a good flavor, of course, that's very, very important, but something that has a complete set of amino acids. This is the one that I really love. Actually, I've just been introduced to this company recently, and I will tell you, I've spent years looking for the perfect plant-based protein. And one after one, they just kept arriving at my doorstep, and I would go, it's okay, but. It was always, it's okay, but, until now. So this is a plant-based protein that I absolutely love. Comes in chocolate and vanilla, soon to be salted caramel. I heard a rumor. So I'm so excited about that. It is organic. This is a company that's actually coming to the United States from Australia. If you know anything about Australia, their organic standards way exceed those here in the United States. So what does that mean to you? It means it's very, very good quality. And the cool thing about this protein is that it is a combination of fermented pea and fermented brown rice protein. So when you ferment things, it makes it a whole lot easier on your digestive system. You don't have the gas, the bloating, the discomfort from a lot of the other traditional plant-based protein powders that have fillers and all kinds of icky things added to them. The other thing I love about this is it has pre and probiotics. So instead of swallowing a lot of capsules that have these things in them, why not have pre and probiotics in your protein shake? Novel idea, I know. Also, this has a complete set of amino acids. So that's one of the most difficult things to do in plant-based eating, is to make sure you're getting all of your essential amino acids. So that's why I love once a day using a protein powder, because it's one of the easiest ways to make sure that you are getting enough protein. So we love this protein. If you would like any information on what I shared today, go ahead and just drop that word down below, whether that's protein or lentils or nutritional yeast for that matter. Go ahead and drop the word down below. I'd be happy to share some information with you. Or if you'd like some general information about nutrition topics similar to this, that I share a whole lot more of over in my group here on Facebook, just drop the word group below and I'd be happy to invite you to my group. I share a lot of recipes and really just valuable information that is absolutely 100% free. My whole goal here on this earth is, as a dietitian, to give back to you the knowledge that I've spent years and years training my brain and putting into my body. And now it's my turn to give back to you. So there you have it, 10 different ways that you can add some plant-based protein into your day, again, or into your week or into your life in general. It's not about becoming vegetarian. It's about moving toward eating more plant-based sources of food. Because if there is one debate that is never there, it's that plants are bad for you. So you hear about carbs are bad, protein's bad, fat's bad, plants are never bad. So you can never go wrong eating more plants. So I would encourage you to get more plant sources of protein into your life. And if you have any questions, as always, don't hesitate to reach out. And once again, if you found value in this information, go ahead and share this into a public place here on Facebook, so that I can enter you into a drawing where I'm going to give away some cool stuff. It might have something to do with what's on the table here today. So I want to wish you guys a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Hopefully you're doing something jolly and cheerful, and we'll come back at you live next week with some more information. You guys have a wonderful evening. Thanks for watching.